conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, welcome to the weekly watch list. It's 3 a.m. and trying to get this all done for you guys for the week. This week we have a Fed meeting on Wednesday, so I think we're gonna run into the Fed meeting. So here's a chart of and S&P 500, and we can see here we have this nice uptrend here that it's been holding. We did have an uptrend here. We broke out of that one, consolidated sideways, and then started a new one. Broke out and then got reclaimed it, got above this support here, holding that, and still respecting that uptrend. So we have this resistance here at 3,027.75. We try to get above that on Friday, couldn't do it. So we're coming back down here and holding this uptrend. So we're gonna get tight right there, and we're gonna break up or we're gonna break down. My money's on we're gonna break up, and we're gonna run up towards this area of resistance at 336, 339, and right there we're gonna see if we get rejected or if we bust through and break that out, because this is a long-term resistance line. So are we gonna bust through or fall back down? We shall see, but we're definitely gonna break up and come to this area of 336, 339 area, and that's where you wanna watch for any type of rejection and setting up into the Fed meeting. So if we do get above it, it should push towards 30.47 and 30.50, and maybe even come back and push if we get some real good momentum, push to that 30.60 before the Fed meeting on Wednesday. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Expect some chop, probably push up here, get rejected, come down here, consolidate around here for the Fed meeting, and then make the real decision when the Feds announce their decision, whether that's 25 basis points or 50-point basis cut. And then we'll see how the market takes it. And then as the market reacts, then we will react towards that. As of right now, bullish, it's holding uptrend, holding support, and looking like it's going to break out. This is ES, S&P 500. We could go to NQ. And NQ, this cup and handle, and it's looking really good. And we see that we have resistance here, resistance here, resistance, resistance. We're holding this breakout of 8,000. As long as we hold that 79.90, and between 79.90 and 8,000, as long as we hold this general area, we should be bullish still and push up. And of course, the NASDAQ NQ is, if you want to trade the ETF, it's QQQ. So they pretty much mirror each other. So if this breaks that 8,034.50, we should push to 80.66 and 80.70, and then that should be good resistance there. If we do get above that, then that 8100 is going to come. We're going to have to get some really good momentum to get the 8100, but it is a possibility. If there's any news on China talks or any type of positives to push it before the Fed, then we could definitely rally before. I'm anticipating a rally before, not that strong, but definitely to at least the first price targets here of 80.60 to 80.70. So that would be NQ, which is NASDAQ, and the QQQs. If we lose, we end up losing this support here at 8,001 or 79.90. If we lose that, we'll gap fill right here at 79.81, and then once we do that, we'll drop down and we'll come down possibly to test this 7,900 here in this previous downtrend. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to continue up just fine until the Fed, and then we'll see the true direction, whether that's going to be a continuation higher or if it's going to pop and then drop. We shall see. All right, so going into QQQs. So we see the Qs. We could see right here, we have this uptrend line, and it's kind of just been hugging onto that uptrend line, continuing up higher. So as long as we continue to do that and NQ breaks out, we should go to 195 and then 197. I like that 197.60, so hopefully we get there, and that's where I'll be taking some profits at 197, 197.50 for the QQQs. All right, let's look at SPY. So SPY has this cup and handle here. We also have this uptrend. This uptrend here, or hit here, and holding that. And then we have this cup and handle. So if we break this, if we continue to hold this uptrend and we break out of this cup and handle, we should be going to 302.60 and then 303.60. So we should be pushing up to at least $1.60 more on SPY. Looks good, holding that support and also holding that uptrend line. It does definitely look good for more higher prices. All right, let's go to Apple. So Apple's been consolidating. As you can see here, we've just been consolidating for 4 days in a row. We've just been in a straight consolidation. So we had a nice move up. We're consolidating sideways. We are building a squeeze to the downside. I don't like that. But Apple earnings are until the, let's see, come on. It's not gonna work for me. Let's see. Go to the daily. All right, 7:30. Okay. So Apple's earnings are Tuesday after the market. So we might consolidate, and then after the market, we'll make the move. So good news for Apple will be above 215. Bad news for Apple will be below 200, most likely. So above 215 or below 200, depending on what the earnings say. But I think maybe we would drop, if bad earnings, we definitely drop to at least 201. At least 201. Test that support. Good earnings will pop above this target here and open up about 214.50, 215. That's considering if we're, still consolidating sideways at this 207 area. Okay. All right, let's go to Nvidia. So Nvidia has been in this nice bullish channel, and I've been putting this one in the weekly watch list a couple weeks now. So it still looks good. Nice bullish uptrending channel. Lots of buy volume. Indicators are looking great still. We're at the lower end of the bullish channel here, and we're above that breakout. So as long as we stay above this 174, we should continue to push higher to that 180 and then 185 area. Here, let me 180. We should be able to push to that 180, get above that 180, and then push to that 185. So I'm anticipating a nice push. Of course, we're going to have LRCX is meeting, earnings this week, and let's actually go look at it. That's Lam Research, and Lam Research, it looks really good on the weekly. You know, it's been in this consolidation downtrend, and now we're in this uptrend, and we're in this uptrending channel here. We're in this nice uptrending channel. We were just based on the bottom of it, and then we popped up, and now we're hitting the mid channel. So if we can get above this, we should be pushing to probably about 230. So let me go to the daily. So we had this nice push up here, and now we're consolidating, and we're probably going to consolidate until the earnings, which are on Wednesday after the market, so pretty much right when the Fed is. So that's going to be exciting. So this is in consolidate sideways. Look at all this buy volume. Look at all this buy volume. It's just so much demand, so much demand. Momentum's up, indicators are up, indicators are all bullish. Price action is bullish. We consolidate. I'd be a long-term buyer around this 207 area. So if it comes back and hits this uptrend here, which I believe it will, once it hits that uptrend, I would be, anticipating long calls to 220, 226. For earnings, I think it could pop to 230, maybe even 240 on real good earnings. If that pops that, Nvidia is going to pop. SOXX as a sector as a whole will pop. So looking at SOXX, we can see that we have a nice cup forming here. We have a nice base of a cup where we have huge sell volume on the fall and then nothing but buy volume on the grind up. And now we're consolidating. We could have some volatility here and fill this gap and consolidate here between 211 and 220. Most likely it's going to consolidate between 214 and 220 in this general area right here. But it could definitely come back here to 211, test that uptrend before it starts pushing up higher. But that's only if we get bad news on LRCX earnings. But I think we'll be okay, and we'll be able to push higher on SOXX, Nvidia, and LRCX. All right, so semiconductors still bullish on the semis. Still like the semis. I think the semis are going to continue higher. I think last week I said MU and Nvidia were the ones I liked. See, MU had got that breakout. It hit that first price target and that first weekly price target, and now consolidating. If we look here, we could see that we have a bullish channel. So we could have another sideways day for MU tomorrow, and then push up by Tuesday, and that would be on the earnings call on LRCX. But it looks good still to jump into the 50s for MU, Micron Technology. All right, so went over Apple, JP Morgan. Let's go to JP. Let's go to the banks. So for the banks here, we have this consolidation sideways in this big giant, this big sideways consolidation, box consolidation. We broke to the downside here, and then we recovered, and now we're in a bullish channel. So we broke to the downside in this box consolidation, and we recovered, and we got back in. So what does that tell us? That tells us that it doesn't want to go down. Why? Because it had plenty of opportunity to go down. So it was gathering buyers or sellers here, and it apparently was gathering sellers because we dropped it. But a lot of buyers came back in and said, no, we're going to keep this price in this area. So then the price stayed in this area, and buyers are coming in, right? There was sellers were dominant before, and now buyers are dominant. Even though it's low volume, the buyers are still dominant. Okay, we have that bullish uptrending channel. Okay, and we see this previous resistance here at 119, and we see every time it hits there, it drops, right? Hits there, it drops. Hit there, it drops. Hit there, it drops. Hit there, it dropped. Okay, now we're hitting it again. Okay, so now we're right there. We're not dropping yet, but we'll see how the week goes. We are in this bullish channel. We're in this bullish channel here, so I anticipate a little bit of consolidation, but it looks like it wants to fire up. And we'll go to the daily chart, and we'll see how that looks. And on the daily chart, it's holding that daily support at 115.50. And if this breaks out that 117.24, it should hit 118.50 and then to 120. So 120 is a nice profit zone that I would be taking if I was long. If we lose 115.50, then we'll be dropping to 114.50 to gap fill, and then after that to 111, 112 area. And then we have a couple more gap fills on the lower end if this decides to sell off. We are at the upper resistance. We could sell off to this 110.87 area, you know, if it went straight down tomorrow, but I'm anticipating this golden channel to hold. So if it does sell off on earnings, I think it would hit at this 112 and hold, and then start consolidating back up again into this pattern here, which is this uptrend line, and then this blue line here forming that ascending triangle pattern. But looking at all this buy volume and all these big candles on JP Morgan, I'm anticipating a breakout and a push higher, but we shall see. We shall see when the Fed comes. This would be a good strangle here. You know, 120 to 110. Yeah, it's pretty much 115. It's 116. So tomorrow, I'm sure it's going to consolidate. So maybe it'll get to 115. And if it does, you have a perfect strangle right there, 120 to 110. Perfect $5 spread. Let's see. So DE, let's go to DE really quick. And we were watching this one last week, and we were saying it was getting tight. We got that cup and handle, and it broke out on Friday, hit our first price target here, closed above cup and handle breakout and our daily breakout, holding that uptrend. Okay, so we're anticipating a push higher to 173, 174 area, and then to test the big breakout, 75.26. If we get that breakout, then it's going to run. But as of right now, everything's looking good. We have a squeeze forming, and the squeeze hasn't even fired off yet. That's what I like about this one, is the squeeze hasn't fired off, and look at all this buy volume, very low sell volume. Nice big buy candles, uptrend holding, breakouts breaking, targets hitting. Squeeze is forming. This one's looking good and good and good. I like this one long even more, but I will keep tight stops as this market can turn viciously on these type of stocks quickly. So keep in mind, if it's below 170, you don't want to be in it until it's above 170. Okay. If it's below 168.90, then you want to get out as it's weak and it's probably going to drop back down to 166. And if it loses that, it's going to 160.50. And that should hold. But if it loses this 168.98, that's where you want to think about exiting, as that's going to be your uptrend pretty much. 170 was really hard to get over. We got over it. Now it needs to stay over. If it doesn't stay over, then it's weak, and we don't want any part of it until it's over 170 and holding. Okay, over 170 and holding. Once it's over 170 and holding, then we're good to 173, 174. But if it can't hold over 170, that means it's too weak and it's going to drop down. All right. So like that one. Let's see. Disney, still like this one, and I feel like it's in this mega foam type pattern. So we just push from the bottom of it, and we should be pushing to 145, 147, and then 149 area before we get resistance, maybe at 150, and then drop back down and continue this type of pattern. Okay, what else do I want to cover? Let me see. Let's see here. Let's look at Tesla. Let's look at Tesla here. And Tesla had earnings and they missed. So we gapped down. We dropped to pretty much the 50-day moving average. Let me go to the weekly chart and see what that looks like. Okay, no. So it was the daily 50. All right, daily 50. Pretty much held it, formed a reversal candle. So if we get a candle above 230 next tomorrow or today, if we get a candle above 230.26 and we start pushing, and if we get above 234.50, that's a good sign that we're going to come and test this 100-day and this support at 244. So if Tesla starts pushing, anticipate a test of that 244 area before it drops back down, and that would be a back test and confirm. If we do consolidate and just drop, we can drop back down to, we got good support at 215. $215 is pretty good support. And right here, 225 is pretty good support as well. So if we lose this 50-day, 215 should be good support. But other than that, this could be the bottom here on Friday. So this could turn around as well. And speaking of that, I wanted to go to CAT, because CAT also had bad earnings. They had bad earnings, they dropped here, but then they immediately formed a reversal on the day they dropped. So that's a good sign that there was so many buyers here that it didn't want to drop anymore. It reversed, and then the next day had a big bullish candle. We are testing that 134.80. We can't get above. We have a downtrend here and we have a downtrend here. Now, if we get above that 134.83, then we should push towards that 136.65. And if we push above that, then we're going to that 139. Now, I like CAT because the weekly formed a reversal candle, even though they had a earnings miss, and we have a nice bullish formation here. This is a bull flag here, and this is a nice bullish candle. We do have a downtrend here, but if we break that downtrend, we could be pushing to 146 and 150. Now, that's going to be a big breakout if CAT gets it. We get above that 144.77, and this one's running to the moon. All right, so that's one I'm watching. I really like it. Just would like it above these downtrends. Once it's above these downtrends, then I really like it. Once it's above 140, I extremely like it. Once it's above 145, I'm in love with it and I can't get enough of it. All right. So we covered, okay, let's go look at Amazon. So Amazon is another one that had bad earnings, but it immediately formed a reversal on the daily chart. We had bad earnings here and then gap down and then formed a reversal. So I think that Amazon can push up and get above that 1965 and get back in this consolidation. And if it could get back above 1987, that's extremely bullish, especially if it breaks this downtrend here. That's telling you we're definitely going to the all-time highs and breaking that 2050 area. But if we don't, this still looks like a reversal is going to happen. So today it should have a good push or a slight push, and then Tuesday a really good push. But if this is a downtrend forming, this is going to be your downtrend right here. So it could push up here, and then if this 186.50 is rejected, then that's when we're going to know, okay, it's actually a downtrend now. So we're going to anticipate a drop. So we'll watch for that 1986.50 to get rejected by the end of the day. So it could definitely get above it during the day, but if it comes back down and closes below it by the end of the day, that's going to tell us, okay, it's weak. It's probably going to drop down and start consolidating downward. So I do like this though. I like this high volume sell on this bullish reversal because it's telling us that there's not a lot of sellers in the market right now for this guy. So even though there's a lot of selling, the buying overwhelmed it and it pretty much closed right where it opened for the day and formed a reversal. So it took out all those sellers and a bunch of buyers came in. So tomorrow should or today should have a nice push up. All right, guys, covered quite a few. Netflix, DE, Tesla, SPY, QQQ, Apple, Amazon, Nvidia, Lam Research, S&P 500, NASDAQ. So keep in mind that the Fed meeting is on Wednesday, and also that we have some semiconductor earnings this week. Keep in mind are those. I'm bullish on semiconductors and overall market for the week. I'm anticipating a run up into the Fed and then maybe a slight sell-off possibly after the Fed, but we might run up into the end of the month and then in August maybe get that sell-off. But we'll see. We'll have to see how the Fed affects markets, and then we'll play it as it goes. So don't go too heavy before the Fed meeting. Um, there's always those situations where you go too heavy, you have to get out, then you have to sit on the sidelines while the move is happening, and you wish you waited just a little bit longer to see the move happening, because now it's running or it's selling, whatever it is, but it's has motion, and it's going, and it has um, momentum, and that's what we want. So we want follow through and momentum. So wait for that. It will come. So let it come, and or strangle. Just be careful with the strangles lately. The strangles have been getting toast from the volatility smash. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the weekly watch list. Sign off. I'm gonna upload this and then see what the results are this week.